nested for loop programs. So I'll create a new class here, nested for loop. Just take a main method. I'll write here itself. Okay, so we're writing only one program, the nested for loop. Then we're moving to break and continue statements. Okay, first for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. Immediately another for loop, that's a nested for loop means. So int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 3, and j plus plus. So we want to print, so this, so I value and j value we need to print. That's it. So that's it. And if you execute one by one, let's see. I less than or equal to 3, that is true, comes inside. J less than or equal to, so j no 1, so here also 1, and here also 1, less than or equal to 3, that is true, comes inside. So the output it will print for us, that is 1 comma 1. So now the code will execute here only, first inner for loop only will execute. Now j value will increment j equal to 1 plus 1, that is 2. So check the condition, 2 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside, it will print I value 1, and so j value, so next j value will be updated to 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3. So that it will check the condition, 3 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside I value 1, j value 3. Again it will update here, so j value will be 4, and the condition it will check 4 less than or equal to 3, false. So it doesn't go inside the inner for loop, it will go outer for loop. Now here I value will update to 1 plus 1, that is 2. So check the condition, 2 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside. Now again checks the 1 less than or equal to 3, so that is true, and 1 I value is 2 and j value is 1. Next j value will increment here, so 1 plus 1, 2, 2 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside. J I value 2 and j value also 2. Next iteration, j value will update to 3, so 3 less than or equal to 3, true, and comes inside I value 2, j value 3. Next it will update j value to 4, 4 less than or equal to 3, false, it will go up, and I value will update to 2 plus 1, that is 3. So that's I value. Next, so comes inside the check the condition, right? 3 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside, and 1 less than or equal to 3, true, and j value I value 3 and j value 1. Again j value will update to 2, so 2 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside, and I value is already 3 and j value is 2, and j value will update to 3, so 3 less than or equal to 3, true, and so it will take the condition 3 less than or equal to 3, true, and I value 3, j value 3, and again so j value will update to 4 and 4 less than or equal to false, again goes up, and I value will update to 4 and fix the condition 4 less than or equal to 3, false, it is going to come out. So this is the how to execute a loop, right? See that all the code is executed whatever we have done. Okay, so that write like this so that it will be very easy for you to understand how the code is executing. Any questions? So that's a program explanation also given. If you want rectangle pattern, so you can just see this also. You can write I'll move it to this inside the method. So we'll write rectangle pattern also. Private static void for loop static void rectangular pattern. So let's print the rectangle pattern. Okay. Now, so I'm declaring final int max rows, 3 final int max columns equal to 4, right? So that's how we can, okay, rows, and that's fine. This just you take any order, okay, doesn't matter. So next do the same thing. So int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to, so max rows, I plus plus. So for, so int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to max columns, j plus plus. So what we need to print? Stars in the rectangular pattern. So that's what we need. So you have to use a print method here. You should not use a println. You should use a print method. After that, so use println method. After inner for loop, you use println method. First row, all columns are over. For all columns, it will print star star star, and 4 stars it will print. Then it will go to next row. So like that, you have to do that. So let's call this. Okay, so that's enough. So we don't need much here. That 4 columns, 4 stars it will print. This is the rectangle pattern program. Anyhow, patterns will come later. I'll explain the programs. We're going to get a lot of programs in the, so triangle pattern. I'm going to explain there. So not necessary now. This next, the break and continue statement. Okay. So the break and continue statements. What is a break statement? If a break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated and the control of the program goes to the next statement following the loop. It is used along with if statement in loops. If the condition is true, then the break statement terminates the loop immediately. So that's this break statement. So what is the concept of break? It will terminate if there is a break statement in the loop. Once your condition is satisfied, you don't want to execute further, then you can use break. So it will terminate the entire loop. That means the cursor will come out of the loop. It won't go to next iteration. That's a break statement. So here is the simple example. And public class break demo, public static void main string args for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. If I equal to 5, then break it. So if I value is equal to 5, then I'm asking break it. Then system.out.print, I one by one we are printing. And if I not equal to 5, then only those values I'm printing. If I equal to 5, entire for loop will terminate. Then loop is over, will print. After the for loop, this statement will print later. It will come to this line once I value reaches to 5. The remaining 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 won't execute. So that's the break state. Inside the for loop inside, if condition inside you are using. Where you can use break statement. Wherever you want, you can use the break statement. The break statement purpose is once the condition is satisfied, then entire loop will be terminated. Even we have used it in the switch case. So there also, once the switch case condition is true, execute the statements, then we are writing a break. Break will terminate the entire switch block. That's the concept. So next, continue statement, continue keyword. The continue statement is used in a loop control structure. If you want to skip some code and need to jump to the next iteration of the loop immediately, then you can use a continue statement. Quite contradictory, right? Break is once the condition is satisfied, it will exit entire loop. But continue statement, it will skip that iteration, it will go to next iteration again. So that's the continue statement. Continue statement is used in a loop control structure. If you want to skip some code, need to be jump to the next iteration of the loop immediately, then we can use continue statement. It can be used for loop or while loop also. Anywhere you can use continue. So this is the continue statement. Public class continue demo, and for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. If I percentile by 2 equal to 0, continue. So it will skip next statement if I is even. If I is even, it will skip. Only odd numbers you are printing here. That's the even you can print odd numbers with this continue statement also. If any I value is even, it's not going to do the print statement. It will execute only odd number. Only odd numbers will. So that's the how to print odd numbers with this continue statement. Write the logic. That's all about continue and break statement. So let's quickly create these programs. In the control structure programs package itself, I am creating break continue demo. So I'll write a non-static method, private void break demo. Any questions here? Break demo. So break means once the condition is satisfied, and that will be exited entire loop. I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So if I equal to 5, then I'm asking break. After, so I'm printing, so all the I value. So this print ln, okay? So that same line they will print. After for loop, I'm bringing the cursor to next line. Then you can execute in debug mode also. You will understand, right? Continue demo. So non-static method we are creating. So here, so continue, we need to see int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, and I plus plus. And if I percentile by 2 equal to 0, then I'm skipping this. So whichever the I value is even number, I'm skipping that. The remaining thing I'm printing. That means odd numbers I'm printing. So I'm going to print here. I can say break statement after. So this one, you can say simple I value we are printing. So let's call this. How can you call non-static methods? You have to create objects for this class. So create object for this class. Create object for the class. So break demo. So what is the syntax? Class name, reference of object equal to new class name, parenthesis semicolon. Class name is, so break demo bc object equal to new break demo. So bc obj dot, so break demo bc obj dot continue. So you can execute this. That only till 4 only executed here, and with break statement. With continuous statement, only even number odd numbers are printed, even numbers are skipped. It's all about for loop, inner for loop, break and continue. Any questions before going for the next one? For each loop.
ఇక్కడ మీరు బ్రేక్ దాంట్లో చెప్పారు కదా, సాటిస్ఫై అయితే అది పూర్తిగా బయటికి వస్తుందని. మరి మీరు ఇక్కడ ఆడ్ నంబర్సే చూపిస్తుందా ఇది, లేకుంటే
which one? This is continue. Break means if this is satisfied, then it will entirely for loop will be skipped. It will exit entire for loop. Continue is skipping that part. So when the condition is true, it will skip that part and it will continue to the next iteration. It will go to next iteration. First time I value 1 less than or equal to 10 true, right? Here true. It will come to if condition 1% by 2 not equal to 0. So what will happen? It won't go to if condition inside, right? It will come here, 1 will print. Again goes up. I value will update. I value update to 2. Then check the condition 2 less than or equal to 10 2 comes inside. I 2 pi 2 is 0. So that means that is not going to print. It won't go here. So it is satisfied here. and the condition continue means it will go to for loop again, the controller. So 2 plus 1, 3. Here the continue execution means it will jump to next iteration automatically. It won't execute further code in the, so here, it won't come here. It won't come to this line. So it will go to directly again another iteration. Now 2 plus 1, 3. 3 less than or equal to 10, true, comes inside, and 3% L by 2 not equal to 0. This is false. False means it will come here, right? It will come, 3 will print. 1 after 3 is printing here. Again goes up, I plus plus. So 3 plus 1, 4. And 4% L by 2, 0. So it will come here. And then immediately it will go to I plus plus. 4 plus 1, 5. It won't go here again. If you continue is executed, directly it will go to I plus plus. That's the situation here. But here in the break, 1, 2, 3, 4, till 1, 2, 3, 4, I value 1, not true. So it will execute this one. Because it's not coming to if condition inside, break is not executing. 2 also not going to execute break. 3, 4, not going to execute break. 5 equal to 5. So it is true, right? So means it will come to if conditional. So break is executed. Break means this entire loop will execute. It will come to here directly. And then this statement will execute. Break, once the break is executed, entire loop will exit. And continue means only that part will skip, next iteration will start. That's the difference between break and continue.
Okay, Andy. Thank you.
Any others having questions? Like me and Sri Lakshmi.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Priyanka?
No, sir. I said no. No question.
Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to the next thing. For each loop. Till now we have seen normal for loop. What is a normal for loop syntax? For bracket, initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement, parenthesis, curly braces start, logic or statements you are writing, curly braces end. That's the structure of normal for loop. So what is this for each loop? This for each loop is used only for arrays and collections. If you have arrays and collections, you can use this for each loop. So this for each loop iterates the elements in forward direction. Only one direction you can iterate with this for each loop, not in reverse direction. That is the this for each loop way. And for each loop syntax is for data type space variable name colon array name or collection name. You can use array name or collection name, and so then below you can write the statements. What is this for? Where you can get this data type? What is this variable name colon array name or collection name? So that's what we are going to discuss now, arrays. Okay, so this is the only used for arrays and collections. So this array has some data type. So that data type we are going to write here. Even collection also has some data type. So that data type we are going to write here. Then some variable. So this variable represent the each element in this array and in this collection. Each element it represent by this variable. First, this variable goes to first element of the array and comes inside. The statements will execute with this variable. Automatic iteration will happen here. So variable goes to second element of the array, third element, fourth element, till last. All the elements it will iterate automatically. There are no iterators, no increment, no decrement here. Automatic iterations will be there. That's the for each loop. This is a very easy one than the one we learned the normal for loop. So what is array? What is collections? So let's understand the array concept, the last part of control structures, and most of the interview questions you will get on the arrays only. Even medium, easy level, medium level, complex level, all levels they will give array question in the interviews. So that's why you need to focus more array programs and you have to write. I have given a lot of array program. It's your patience how many you want to practice. Okay, but let's see what is an array. So array is a group of values having the same data type, and you can store inside the array. So similar data type elements you can store in the array. So each value in the array is identified by an index. So what is array? A collection of elements, a group of elements. Similar data type elements you can store. For example, variable you can use to store all the data, right? Even you can use array to store the data. But what is the difference between variable and array? Variable, you can store only one value, but whereas in array, you can store more than one values at a time. That's the concept of array. And easy to access array elements because array works based on the index. And so array declaration, we'll see. So declare a variable to hold the array object, create a new array object and assign it to an array variable, store information in that array. So array is one of the data structure, static data structure. Array is a static data structure. Static, why we are calling? The array size doesn't change once you assign the size. And similar data type elements you can store in the integer, only integer values, string, only string values, character, only character arrays you can store, float, only floating values, double, only double values you can store, or objects, only objects you can store in the array. That's the advantage with this array concept. So a collection of elements or values stored in the array. So all are similar data type. Each element, each value is identified by an index. So indexes starts with a 0 because of the indexes, random access is possible. Because of indexes, you can randomly access your numbers. Suppose your array is having, see that, 34 minus 12, 2, 300, minus 45, 0, 5, 1, 1. These are all the elements in your array. So the index number always, first element if you want, that starts with a 0. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total you have 8 elements, but the last element is, see that, index is 7, last element index. Total length minus 1 is with the last element index. Why? Because so 0 also you count it. 0 also you need to count it. First element index is always 0 only. Then if you want to access 34, the array name of 0 you keep and it will be accessed at 34. If you want 300, you write 300 in which index? Third index. So numbers of, in the square bracket you give that index number, that is 3. So numbers of 3 means you will get 300. So the indexes are fixed, it doesn't change. So let the value can be anything. So what value you want to access? So the values are accessed using index numbers. Index numbers, always the first index is 0 only. It's never going to change. The first index is 0 and the last element index is always the total array length minus 1. If you do, you will get the last element index. So this is the array. Array is represented in square brackets. Array name after you have to put a square brackets. That's represent, is an array symbol. It's an array symbol. So what is the advantages of an array? So advantages of array is we can use random access because of the keys, because of index. Because of indexes, you can access randomly wherever you want the array element. Second thing, very easy to implement and easy to use, and very fast data structure. We should use arrays in applications when we want to add items over and over again. We want to take items with the given indexes, it will be very fast. So something records you will add, keep on adding, right? So that time you have to use arrays only in the applications. Creating accounts. So this is the best concept, arrays to use. So what is the disadvantage? So the disadvantage is we have to know the size of the array at compile time itself. So it is not so dynamic data structure. I told you it's a static dynamic data structure. So array is a static data structure, not dynamic data structure. Why it is static? So in the compile time itself, you will give the size of the array. Later you cannot modify that. Once you declare array size, that's fixed. You cannot increase the size. Elements also you cannot increase, you cannot decrease. So that's a thing. If it is a full, we have to create a bigger array and have to copy the values one by one. So reconstructing an array is arduino operation, and it is not able to store items with different data types. Another disadvantage. Same data type elements you can store. That's what I told, right? Only integer data type elements. Only float elements. You will declare a data type of your array. So I'll give you the syntax in a few minutes. Okay, so that's the main problem. So size limit. So that's what I told, right? Size limit is there. We can store only fixed size of elements in the array. It doesn't grow size at runtime. So now, for example, you declared 5. Only 5 elements you can store in the array. 6th element you cannot place because there is no memory for that 6th element. If you try to put 6th element, it will throw runtime exception for you. That is, array index out of bounds exception will be thrown to you. So if you want to solve this size issue, you can go for the collection framework, which is automatically grows at runtime, collapses and expands. So that's how you can solve the size issue with collections. So how can you declare array variables? How can you declare an array? So any data type array you can declare, right? Just declaring a variable. I told you declaring a variable means what is meant by that? Data type, the variable, right? Remember that syntax? How to declare any variable. Here array variable I'm saying. So data type, variable name. So here also first integer, int, square bracket. The square bracket represent the array, and the list is the array variable. String, square bracket, fruits. So fruits is the string type array variable. Rectangle, square bracket, boxes. Rectangle is the custom class name. So class also one data type, right? Class also one data type. Anybody having doubt on this? Class also one data type. I can treat it as a data type. Now I need to pass this value for this array variable, right? Where is the value? Now create an array object and pass that array object value to this variable, this array variable. So after declare the array variable, the next step is to create an array object and assign it to that variable. So as in the following statement. You can directly declare and assign here. I am doing here declaring array variable and assigning. But here we declared already. Then assigning a value is different. So that I'll show you. But how to create an array I'm showing here. How to create an array object. So this is the data type, square bracket, array name equal to new data type size. In the square bracket you have to give the size. This is the syntax how to create an array variable, array object. How to create an array object. So we are declaring a variable and then assigning a array object with a size. So the square bracket is for data type. Next, this is also valid. Data type, array name, square bracket equal to new data type size. So you can assign the array object to this array. So data type, array name. So new data type, square bracket, you can assign the values. You can declare the values also in this array itself directly. But here we don't have any elements here. We just created array object, that's it. But we don't have values there. Values you have to assign later. But this one is last one. You can declare and create an array object and then you can assign the values also. How many values you want? You can assign the values also in the same line. These three formats are correct. Any one format you can use. But with these two formats, in the next lines, you have to assign the value for that array variable. Then let's see how to do that. See that. So this one I am continuing. This one I declared array variable here. Now I am assigning. So list equal to, here it is a list variable, array variable, list. I'm assigning value new int 10, new int 10, new int 10. So fruits, new string 5, boxes, new rectangle 4. So this is the examples. See that the variable, array variable you are using, then you are assigning the array object. Now that means this list array variable can contain 10 elements. 10 integer values only you can store there in the list array variable. In the fruits array variable, you can store 5 fruits only. Those are all string type data. In the boxes array, 5 rectangle objects you can store. So that's the four rectangle objects you can store. So this is the how to assign a value to this array variable. You declared here and you are assigning a value here. Array object you are assigning. So that is possible, right? Declaring a variable, later you are assigning a value. But in this case, I am directly declaring array variable and assigning in the same line. So this is the compact code. This is the compact code and this is the bit longer code. So declaring array variable and the next line assigning a value. So anyone you can use. So declaring array variable and creating array object can be done in a single statement like this. Int marks equal to new int 5. See that 5 memory boxes will be created for this array, marks array. So first this one, second, third, fourth, fifth. See, first marks will be always in the 0 index. Second marks in the 1 index. Third marks in the 2 index. Fourth marks will be in the 3 index. Fifth marks will be 4th index. The pointer is going to point to this indexes. Based on the index you can access. This is the int marks equal to new int of 5. So that's how to access. For example, I want this index, this marks I want, I have to give marks square bracket 2 you have to give. So array name is marks. Array variable is marks square bracket 2 you have to give to get this third cell value. So any cell address you want, cell value you want, that index number you pass, marks, that index number you pass. The array variable square bracket, the index number you need to provide so that you will get that value. That's why you can access anywhere. You can access this one, you can access this one, you can access this element, any element you can access based on the index. And next one, you can create and initialize an array at the same time by enclosing the elements of the array inside braces, curly braces, separated by commas, like this. So double data type, array symbol, prices equal to curly braces. So all the values you can write. So this is also, you are initializing the value of your array directly in the same line. So this is also another valid array declaration and assigning the values. Okay. How can you access the array elements? How can you store the array elements? Right. You can see you can access array element with array name followed by a subscript enclosed within the square brackets in the following bracket like this. Marks 4. This is you are assigning a value 30 value to fifth element. Fifth element here. Array of 4 means fifth, right? Array of 4 means fifth element. So the size minus 1, can you see size minus 1 is the last element index. Size is 5. 5 minus 1 is your last element index. That means array dot length minus 1. If you do, you will get a last element index. How can you get the last element index? Array name dot length minus 1. If you do, you will get a last element index. You will get last element index. Any questions? Now, see the example here. One simple example we are giving array, how to iterate an array, how to take this array. So public static void when the final int size equal to 5. Array size is 5 I declared. So that cannot be changed. Create an array to hold employee salary. So double salary is equal to new double the size. The final variable, right? That's why we are writing all cap letters. Array. So variable name, you are writing local variable name, you are writing cap letters because of final keyword. This is a constant. You cannot change this size value. That's a final keyword tells you. So create a scanner object for keyboard input. You want to input from the keyboard. You can use a scanner object. Scanner console equal to new scanner system.in. So enter the salaries of 5 employees. So I'm going to enter 5 employees salaries. So get employee salary for int I equal to 0, I less than size, I plus plus. So salaries array. So array name is salaries of this I value. First you are starting with the 0 because always index starts with the 0. That's why your initialized value is 0. And console dot next double method I'm calling. So every value you are inputting, that will go and store in this place. So next value, I value will update to 1, 0 plus 1, 1. So second element. So another value will enter. Second element, when you enter, it will go to place in the second place of this array. Then third element will place here. Fourth element, fifth element. That's it. So only 5 values you will enter. That will exit this for loop. Then print those salaries. So how can you print array elements? For int I equal to 0, I less than size, I plus plus. So system.out.println array name of I. You have to use array name of I in the square bracket. I is the index number. So array name of 0 means first element will print. So I value first time 0, right? So 0 less than 5 true comes inside array name of 0. So first element will print. Next, where it will go after printing the for loop statement? It will go to increment part, right? Now 0 plus 1, 1. Now I value becomes 1. 1 less than 5 true comes inside array name salaries of I value 1. Array name of 1. Array name of 1 means second element will print. Then it will go to this increment part I plus plus. So 1 plus 1, 2. 2 less than 5 true comes inside salaries of 2. Array name of 2. Salaries is the array name. Array name of 2. That means third element will print. Again it will go up I plus plus. I value 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 less than 5, that is true, comes inside salaries of 3. That means fourth element. Fourth element will print. Then goes up 3 plus 1, 4. 4 less than 5 true comes inside salaries of 4. Fifth element will print. Again goes up and 4 plus 1, 5. 5 less than 5 false. It doesn't come inside. That's why for loop, if you know, then this is easy. If you are not clear about for loop, all arrays you have to exclude from your classes. Make sure you understand how I'm executing multiple times same passion. Understand how it is executing, that will be very helpful for you. So what is the array length? How can you find the array length? These three are very, very important. How can you find the array element? All arrays have one named instance variable, that is length. Length is an instance variable that contains the length of the array, number of elements in the array. That count is given by this length variable. And you may use this value as the upper bound of a loop. Your upper bound of a loop is represented by this array dot length. Rather than a constant value, you can write always array name dot length. You can write upper bound. So minimum boundary initialization always will be 0 only. If you want to print from first element to last element, the first element index always going to be 0. You don't need to think. If you are printing arrays, always your initialized value in the for loop is 0 only. In the condition place, the I value less than array dot length you put. Array dot length, whatever it is there, it will calculate. You don't need to hard code that. Array dot length you write. Array name dot length. So basically this will return a number, integer number, count. It will give you the count, how many number of elements are there. So that will give you the count. So you can store anywhere, otherwise directly you can call return, right? This returns a value to you. So this length instance variable will return a value to us. So that is integer number it returns. And then you can store in the variable, then that instead of that, the shortcut. Wherever you want the length of the array, call this array name dot length. Second, how can you get the last element position of the array? Last element position you want to get it. How can you get it? So array name dot length minus 1. Array name dot length minus 1. If you do, you will get the last element index. You don't need to hard code last element index. So what is the formula you have to use? If you want last element index, array name dot length minus 1 you do, you will get the last element index. How can you get the particular position element? How can you access array elements? How can you access array elements? Array name, square bracket, index number you give. How can you access array elements? Array name, square bracket, index number you give, and on that index, what value is there, you can get it. So how can you find the array length?
Array name dot length.
Array name dot length. How can you get the last element index?
Array name
Array name dot length minus 1.
Length minus 1.
Whenever you want last element index, you should not hard code. Always you should use this formula. The last element index you want, array name dot length minus 1 you write. It will calculate, you don't need to worry. And then how can you access particular array element? I want this element. How can you access that?
array name square brackets index number.
Array name square bracket index number you give. Then you can access this array value. So on that index, what value is there, it will fetch for you. So these are the three formulas, very, very, very important. All are clear, or anybody having doubt?
No.
Clear, sir.
Lakshmi and Sri Lakshmi.
Clear, sir.
Any doubts here? How to create an array? How to create an array? What is the formula?
Data type square brackets, array
Name equal to new data type
Hmm.
in the square bracket size.
So array data type square bracket array name equal to new data type square bracket size. Again, new keyword you're using. New keyword, what it will do? It will create object, right? So now you are creating array object. You got it? New keyword will create object. So you are creating array object. So what is the purpose of array? Why you cannot use variable? Why you are using array?
Array is a group of objects you can take inside.
Okay. So why not variable? Variable also it will store the data, right? You can store the data, right?
Only one value only, sir.
One variable will be stored in the variable data, but array you can take group of things.
Good. In the variable you can store only single value, not more than one at a time. But in the array, at a time you can store multiple values at a time, similar data type elements. That's the advantage of array. And array is very fast. You can access array elements with the index. So that's I have given here how to access array elements, how to get array elements, how to access array elements, and this is the formula use. Array name of index. Okay, so I clearly given. These are the points we need to remember. And so when you will get array index out of bounds exception, so what are the different scenarios we have? So when you will get array index out of bounds exception, if the index value given as a negative, then at runtime system will throw array index out of bounds exception. This is the runtime exception. This is the runtime exception. It will throw at runtime. Compile time it won't give any error. When you execute program, that time this exception will be thrown. This is the runtime exception. There are two types: compile time and runtime exceptions. Compile time is while writing the code itself, it will throw error, show you error in the Eclipse. But these runtime exceptions will throw error only when execute the code. So now array index out of bounds exception comes under category of runtime exception. So when you will get, for example, you given a negative value as your index. I told you the index value always starts with the 0, but you give a negative value, you will get a array index out of bounds exception. First scenario. The second scenario, when you will get, if we enter or insert element at a wrong index in the array, suppose you have 5 elements, but you are inserting at the 6th element, 6th place. There is no memory for that, but you are inserting. Then that means you are inserting the more than the size of the array. You are inserting an element at more than the size of the array. Then also array index out of bounds exception will be thrown to you. Then array size is 0, array is empty, and you are trying to access the array elements, second element, third element you are trying to access. Then also array index out of bounds exception will be thrown to us. These are the 3 scenarios you will see. But don't scare when you get a array index out of bounds exception in your when you run your program. Just check what is the problem. Read, clearly read and understand. Line number also it will be given to you. So first understand and debug the code. So why you are getting array? I have given the rule, all 3 cases. These are the 3 cases only you will get this array index out of bounds exception. If you remember all these 3 cases, then you can solve your coding problem easily. This issue you can solve easily. If you don't know these reasons, why this array index out of bounds exception you are getting, if you don't know, you cannot solve that problem. First understand why you are getting. If such kind of reasons are there in the coding, remove them, right? And then automatically the array index out of bounds exception problem will be solved. Okay, so simple example I'm giving, I'm creating a integer array with the 5 elements. So int array name equal to new int 5. Is it following my data type array symbol array name equal to new data type size? Is it following that syntax or not? This one, declaring
Yes,
an array and assigning an object to that variable. Now how to insert elements? Now in this array no element, just I declared the size 5. That means I can store 5 elements in this array, but no elements now. How to insert elements into this array? So this is the syntax. Array name of index equal to value semicolon. Array name of index equal to value semicolon. So array name is ARR. So ARR of, so first element always 0, right? So 0th position I am putting 10. And second array name of 1, 15. Array name of 2, 20. This is assignment operator, right? Assignment means that 10 value will go and store in the first position of array. What is the first position element index? 0. Always first element index hard coded. This is never going to change. That is 0 only. If I want to 10, how can I access 10? I need to call array name of 0. You need to write. Then you will get a 10 value. So then array of 3, 25. Array of 4, 30, but 5 elements are done right here. But I'm inserting again more. Array of 5, 45, array of 10, 50. So, but this size of the array is 5, but you're inserting 6th element, you're inserting 11th element. So what will happen? What
Show
will
the
happen?
error.
What error?
Error.
When it will show the error?
It's a negative error.
Negative error. What is negative
Oh,
error?
second. No. It's the second one. When you are existing the another one, array inside the value 45. కొత్తది మీరు క్రియేట్ చేయడానికి వెళ్తే అది ఎర్రర్ చూపిస్తుంది కదా ఇక్కడ.
No, madam. No. Not at all. Your answer is completely wrong. You misunderstood again.
You can only store
Array size. More than array size. So that
Inserting
it
the
will
more
drop.
than the size of the array.
5 values, right?
5 కదా array the size of.
More than the size of the array.
So more than the size of the array I'm inserting. And what I told you just above, I told you more than the size of the array. If you insert, what exception you will get?
Collection.
Out of bounds.
Out of boundary.
Array index out of bounds exception. Remember this class name. This is the class name. Array index out of bounds exception is the class name. Exception class name. Array index out of bounds exception is the runtime exception class name. If you insert more than the array size, you will get array index out of bounds. That's what I just now I explained here. The second point I'm covering here. I'm inserting more than the array size. Now, compile time you won't get any problem. Once you execute your code, then you will get array index out of bounds exception. Because I'm inserting more than the 5 elements. The 5 elements means you count 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Array of 4 only last element. But array of 5 is 6th element. 6th element, there is no place for this in this array. And 11th element, there is no place for this element in this array. The size itself 5 you declared. Only 5 elements you can put. Count with the 0. First element count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. So these are the 5 elements. How are you getting the last element index?
Array
How can you
length
get the last
minus.
element index?
Array length minus 1.
Array dot length minus 1.
Minus
Array
1.
dot length is 5. Array dot length is 5. 5 minus 1, 4. See the last element index you are getting 4. With the formula you are getting, you don't need to hard code also. So now this is the array. You can I just inserted the values, right? I inserted the values. I'm placing them properly. Int array of square bracket 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. See, first element always in the 0 index. Second element 1 index. Third element 2 index. Fourth element 3 index. Third last element in the 4th index. So how to print an array? So how can I iterate? How can you print this array? Many elements are there. How can you print? So you can print an array using for each loop. I just explained on the top for each loop. So this one for each loop. So for you got data type. What data type you need to give? Array data type. Then some variable name, colon, array name. So give the array name. I have given all these parts. So variable name, it's up to you what value you want to give. Any variable name, A to Z, 26 letters are there. 1 letter you can use, or 1 word you can use. Any word you can use in the variable name place. That will represent each element of this array. Array means a group of elements, right? This variable represents the first element, next iteration, second element, third element, fourth element, last element. So like this you can iterate, right? So that's what I'm doing. See that I'm giving here syntax also for each loop syntax. For bracket data type of the array, space, variable name, colon, array name or collection name, curly braces, start statements you write. See, as per formula I'm going for bracket. What is the data type of this array?
Int.
Int.
Int is coming. So variable name I am giving some A colon is mandatory. Array name is ARR. So ARR I kept. Now system.out.println A. Now this A represent the each element of this array. First A contains 10. So first element, right? It will go to first element of this array. First element of this array, what is that? 10, right? So now A contains 10. So it will come and print A. So 10 will print first. Then A automatically goes to second position. Here, second position means 15. Now A contains 15, not 10. So now it is element is having. So A contains 15. There is the element. So comes inside. So A value 15 will print. Now A automatically goes to third position, that is 20. So 20 will print. And A goes to next, A contains next element 25. So 25 will print. And A contains next iteration 30. 30 will print. A try to goes to next, there is no element at all. So it is a false, it doesn't come inside. If element is there, it will come. If element is not there, it will become false and it doesn't come inside the for loop body. That's an easy one, right? For each loop. So printing the for each loop is easy than normal for loops. You can iterate array, you can print array using for each loop or normal for loop also you can use. So let's use normal for loop also. Using normal for loop. For what is the normal for loop syntax? For initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement statements. Initialization means where array will start. So what index array will start?
0.
0.
0 index. So that's why for bracket int I equal to 0, semicolon, I less than or equal to array dot length minus 1. So why I have given the last element equal to I have given. That's why I need to give a last element index. Last element index you have to give. And I plus. So you can give, if you are not giving equal to, only I less than, just give array dot length. Don't hard code. So either you give a last element index. If you are giving a last element index, use less than or equal to. Or you want to give only array length, just use I less than array dot length. Any one is correct. Any one is correct. And I plus plus. Then system.out.println array name of I you have to give. So with the normal for loop, you have to write array name. With the normal for loop, you have to write array name, square bracket. The index is represented by I. The index is represented by I. And you can see here. So this here you are not using array name here inside the curly this curly braces region. You are using directly the variable. That's why it got a for each loop. The A representing the each element of the array. That's why it got a for each loop. But here you have to use array name inside the body of the loop. So see first I value 0. So it will come to this place. So I value 0, 0 less than or equal to 4, right? This value 4, array dot length 5, 5 minus 1, 4, 4, 0 less than 4, true, comes inside. So I value 0, right? Array of 0. Array of 0 means first element, 10, 10 will print. Next. So I value, it will update, right? 0 plus 1, 1. See that I did the same thing. 0 plus 1, 1. So next. 1, it will go to condition place, right? Condition place. 1 less than or equal to 4, true, comes inside. And array of 1. Array of 1 means second element, 15 will print. Next, it will go here, the increment part. I plus plus. That means 1 plus 1, 2. That is, I have written here very clearly written 1 plus 1. Step by step I am going. So that it will come very nicely, beautifully you can understand. So 2 less than or equal to 4, true. I'm going to condition place. 2 less than or equal to 4. This value is I value 2 and this value is 4. 2 less than or equal to 4, true. Comes inside array of 2. Array of 2 means this one, third element, 20 will print. Then I value will update. I equal to 2 plus 1, 3. So 3 less than or equal to 4, true. Comes inside, array of 3 will print, fourth element, 25 will print. Again, 3 plus 1, 4. I value now updated to 4. And so condition will check. 4 equal to 4, true. Comes inside, array of 4 means last element, 30 will print. Then I value will update. 4 plus 1, 5. 5 less than or equal to 4, false. It doesn't come inside. So this is you are printing array in ascending order. That means first element to last element you are printing. Then always your initialized value will be 0 only. If you are printing first element to last element. First element is your 0 index. Last element will be the upper boundary. Upper boundary is always your array length or array length minus 1. Last element index. Here I am giving last element index I am giving here. That's why less than or equal to we used. Or you can use less than also. Array dot length you can use. That means the length before only it will calculate. Next, how to print array in reverse order. I want to print array in reverse order. Reverse order means last element to first element. How can you print? That means, so how can you print last element to first element? What is your initialization?
I
Dot length minus 1.
minimum value.
For int I equal to array dot length minus 1. That's the last element index you have to give. Don't hard code. And then I greater than or equal to 0. I minus minus. I'm reversing. So till 0, my minimum value is 0. But I need to start with the last element. What is the last element index? Array dot length minus 1. It's all for loop only. Nothing great here. If you are not practicing for loop, and this is a difficult task. I'm going to use in the for loop, 90% for loop I'm going to use in the array programs. 99% I'm going to use for loop only. So that's why for loop, how easily you understood, and your job is going to be easy in the array programs. If you're not understanding for loop, that's going to be a complication, these array programs. Even I am explaining every time how to execute. And if you follow that, and it's easy. Okay, let's see that. So, and system.out.println array name of I, first value, array dot length 5. See that I have written very clearly, array dot length is 5. 5 minus 1, 4. So first initialized value is 4, the first part. That part by part you execute, you will get properly. Then I greater than or equal to 0. That means I value currently 4. 4 greater than or equal to 0. That is true. So true means immediately what will happen? Jump into the for loop body. So array of 4. Array of 4 means 30 will print. Not first element, last element we are printing. Next where it will go after this body execution? Updation part, right? I minus minus. 4 minus 1, that is 3. So after getting the updated I value, where it will go? Condition, right? And 3 greater than or equal to 0, true, comes inside array of 3. So I'm just replacing I value. Every time new value you're getting, I'm replacing. So that is 25. And then, so next 3 minus 1, 2. 2 greater than or equal to 0, true, array of 2 will print. That is 20 will print. Again, 2 minus 1, 1. 1 greater than 0, true, comes inside array of 1, 15 will print. Then 1 minus 1, 0, and 0 equal to 0, true, and array of 0, first element will print. Then again, 0 minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 greater than 0, false, doesn't come inside. This is the how you need to execute for loop. For loop, I'm explaining one more time. Every time you are using array concept, but still I'm explaining for loop only. I thought I explained many times for loop, and still you are not getting. I cannot help anything. Nobody can help for you if you're still not getting the for loop structure of it is. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions? You have to talk, and if you have problems. If you're not
Mere-
talking, you won't get.
రమేష్ గారు మీరు అక్కడ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ బౌండరీ అంటున్నారు కదా, అది మళ్ళీ రన్ చేసేటప్పుడు మరి ఎర్రర్ చూపించదా? ఇట్ షో ద మొత్తం చూపిస్తుందా అది?
After running execution of the code, that execution time it will catch that error, it will throw for you, not while writing the code. Okay, writing time it won't complain, only running time. That's the run time means, madam.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Array index out of bounds exception occurrence cases. First scenario, second case, I am clear, sir. Third case, arrays and 0. Third case,
So you don't have any elements, madam. You don't have any elements in the array. So empty. It's your array is empty.
Empty. Okay. Then
So
when
now
we are
you have this array, you have elements, right? In these arrays, you
Yes.
have elements.
Correct.
Now you give empty.
Empty. Okay. Like
So then you are trying to access. Then it will throw array index out of bounds. Suppose this you will get only from the web pages. You are trying to get a group of elements. Okay. But the values you didn't get. Somehow your WebDriver missed that fetching the values to array, and it is empty now. It is showing empty. But you are trying. You are using that elements
that
in the
means-
next line.
Okay.
Such cases you will get array index out of bounds exception.
Okay, sir.
These
Yeah.
are the scenarios we used to see many times.
Oh.
And then it's your problem. So your code, your test code problem, not developer code problem.
Oh.
So that's why if you know these reasons, then you can easily debug. If you don't know these reasons, you cannot debug, right?
Yes, sir.
That's why I'm telling each and every part is a very, very important. If you understand, life is easy in the coding. This concept. Any questions?
Ramesh, there is any size limit, Ramesh, there?
Size limit.
Because
there
if
is
we
no size
take the
limit.
characters A to Z means it's 26, right? 26 times we have to execute like this.
There is no size limit.
array-
You can give how much size you want.
Okay.
You can give whatever the size you want, right?
Okay.
So, but you have to declare the size initially. While declaring array itself, you have to tell what is the size. That's a static array. This is a static data structure.
Yeah.
This array is a static data structure. Why we are calling static? You are fixing the array size and fixed data type. Both are fixed. Either you can store only one data type elements
Or else,
and particular size. That's it.
okay.
And you cannot change later. You cannot change later the size. 5 elements means 5 elements only you can store, not more than that, not less than that. Even if you don't give values, it will default values will be assigned, right? JVM.
Yes.
So 0, 0 will assign if you don't assign a value. So that's the problem. So that you cannot reduce, you cannot increase. Once you declare array, once you fix the size.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sri Lakshmi. Lakshmi, I want to print even array. Okay, I have few elements. In that array, I want to print only even elements. How can you print? So this is my array. So int array name list equal to square bracket 2, 5, 16, 18, 21. This is my array. Okay. So in this, so I want to display all the even array elements. So the even numbers of array only I need to print. How can you print? In the given array, what is the array? Problem understand. So in the given array, you need to print even numbers only. Even elements of that array only you need to print. So what is the even elements in this array?
2, 16, 18.
18.
Only these three you have to print from this array. Just think, okay. Then immediately you have to think even logic. You first iterate one by one. Then when you check one by one, then you will find out, right? One by one you have to iterate. For iterating, what you need to do? You have to take for loop, right? For iteration purpose, you have to use a for loop. Then to check the each element is even or odd, what condition you need to use? What conditional statement you need to use to check the particular element is even or odd? How can you check?
If it is
I
division-
percentile
If condition.
If
If condition you have to
If condition with a reminder.
Right. You write this logic. This logic we know already. All those things you are combining here with a problem and that giving solution for that problem. With the individual things we learned previously, for iterating an array, you have to use a for loop. For loop inside, you have to filter. Okay. So I'm getting group of elements. In the group of elements, which element is even? How can I check even the every element? So the array element, how can you get each array element? How can you get each array element? How can you get each array element?
Int I. You can call that one first.
What is int I, madam?
List. You have to list I. List I kada.
Access. How can you access or how can you get array element?
Through
Array
index
means
number.
square brackets.
Array name of
Index.
Square brackets index.
formula. Remember the formula. Remember the formula. How can you access? How can you get a particular array element? Array name of index. Array name of index. How can you get? How can you access array elements? Array name of index. How can you access? How can you get array elements? Array name of index. So this is what I am using. Array name is list. List of square bracket. The index is represented by I. So I am giving I percentile by list of I percentile by 2 equal to 0. Then you print that array element. How can you print array element? Each array element, how can you get? Again, array name of index. That's I'm printing array element. This is the simple logic we are at. This is how you can build. That's why I given the even numbers and odd numbers programs. Because of all these reasons, they might ask you any question. So a group of elements, how can you trade from first element to last element? Using for loop. Then how can you filter out whether it is a even or odd? So that element, how can you get array element? Array name of index percentile by 2 equal to 0. Then system.out.print list of I. So the element, your array element you are getting, array name of index. That element only will print. Whichever element is divisible by 2, you are getting 0 reminder. Only that element will print. Remaining elements will be skipped. Right? So in the if condition, I am writing that. Then it will print only that. Okay. So that's it. All the elements of array. Still a lot of programs are there.